Chennacatt, the citadel of the fifth Nazgûl, is located in the steep, dry northern flanks of the Yellow Mountains. This chain of peaks forms the southern boundary, border of the primary deserts of Harad. Near its eastern end, winds borne from the turbulent Bay of Ormel bring rain to the headwaters of several rivers. The mightiest of these, the Sîresha, flows through the Chennacatt, Isra, and the Kimlarsa regions richly imprinted with the signs of civilization. Near the source of the Sîresha stands a hollow mountain, nigh Chennacatt, sculpted to resemble a dragon's head. The fortress houses the army of Akhôrahil, the Storm King. Composed of disciplined Haradan warriors and ferocious Orcs, the hosts are poised to hold all the lands south of Mordor under their sway. Nazgûl plans to render this vast fief up to the Dark Lord's sovereignty. The Fortress series. The Fortresses of Middle-earth series intended to provide game masters, i.e. GMs, with extremely detailed overviews of individual towers, citadels, castles, and other fortifications of particular note. Each module in the line of documents the history, design, layout, garrison associated with a given site. A list of suggested adventure themes follow the text. Like the rest of the Middle-earth series, this module contains game terminology references based on ICE's Middle-earth role-playing game, i.e. MERP and Rolemaster. Fantasy role-playing systems. If you need to adapt material to another FRP game, read section 1.3. Welcome again to the Fat Man's revisitation of Middle-earth, Iron Crown Enterprises game system based on Lord of the Rings, The Hobbit, J.R.R. Tolkien's works. This particular installment is the Nazgûl Citadel. It's actually pretty thick as books go for MERP. It is one of the Fortress series, which means the lion's share basically it's a literal breakdown, level by level, of this huge fortification that serves as the home and base for the Storm King, who in turn over time tried to control as much of Harad and the near Harad as he could, as well as elements of surrounding communities. We've got our background, their tale of years, history of the Citadel itself, terrain around it, Chennacatt after 1640, the army of the Southern Dragon, fortresses in the Fourth Age. That's an interesting piece right there. By 4th Age 58, Mordor had gathered such a sizable force that Chennacatt again posed a threat to the Greater Harad. Patterning his army after the old forces of Mordor, the demon gathered strength and fielded an army of some 30,000 orcs and trolls, nowhere near the size of the army of the Southern Dragon in its prime. This new host was still a threat to the free peoples of the Greater Harad. Ringwraith utilized the holds of Everfeln and Chennacatt as dual bases for his operations, sending out forays against the neighboring regions and south of the Yellow Mountains. So, still a problem even late into Aragorn's rule, and probably will be for some time to come for his sons as well. Information on the army of the Southern Dragon, organization of the winds, the orc armies of Chennacatt and Filu, tactics, breakdown, people of note. Picture of the fifth of the 9 Nazgûl before he turned into a wraith. His stats before he became a wraith. His stats as a wraith are located elsewhere. I don't think they're in here. Most of his main lieutenants and flunkies, the fortress itself, the mines. Now, the Fortress series is quite interesting because, like I said, it says, it focuses specific on a very large construct of some sort that serves a very important role or a central location in a given region. And this is an area where there's several source books near Harad, Greater Harad. To some extent, the Far Harad could also be attached to this, although Far Harad is separated by a huge ocean of sand from the other two. So the fact of the reason it's called the various Harads is because they're areas that border the Haradwith, which is the great Dune Sea, the Great Sand Sea, which is massive in size. It literally encompasses an area greater than Gondor and Arnor together. So it gives you, try to give you a little bit of a visual as to how big that place is, and how widespread these human cultures are, scattered with a few elvish enclaves holding out and a handful of dwarven citadels and so on and so forth. The lion's share of this, like I said, is just basically a level by level breakdown of the castle or the fortress itself and its purpose. And you get into the ruins in a later age, the surrounding areas. It's a pretty good sized community there. What is that? Tartarost, Client State, Sunken Well Inn. Some good layouts for a tavern here. Now this book is nearly new because I never got a chance to really apply it in any setting. Not that I didn't have thoughts on it, I just didn't get a chance to. There was no need for it, or I had other sources that I used, or I made my own. So, as a supplement goes, it's a good addition. There's a lot of useful material in here, and I actually saw this copy not too long ago, or version of this on this store shelf at our local game store as a used. Somebody had sold it to the game store and they were reselling it. So they're still floating around. You can get them, and I suppose you could probably get a PDF version of this. I don't know if they sell them or you can get it free. But I like these things because there's so much useful material in them, and you can adapt them to. This could be an evil wizard's citadel, or some warlord who's threatening the free peoples of your campaign world, so on and so forth. Lots of good, interesting location material in here. Mostly latter game stuff, latter age stuff, because this was getting toward the end of Merp's run. The read can be a little dry. The history material at the very front is actually repeated, so quite a bit of this stuff is found in the other source books, which makes sense because this is a central location in one of the big source books. Like, I think Greater Harad is where it's located. So there you go. There you have it. Which, interesting or sadly enough, is, unless I have one floating around somewhere and I don't know where it is, this is my last Middle-earth Merp book to review, to revisit. I have something else that's Middle-earth based, but it's not part of the Merp book itself, or Merp system itself. And the Fat Cat says, enjoy them, buy them, grab them, love them, ignore them, revisit them when you can.